Hello to you and welcome to Trends. I am Cole-Popoola, standing in for your regular host, Bumi Obanawa, who cannot be here due to what they call unavoidable reasons. But I am not alone. I have joining us on Skype our online producer, Moses Amagana, who is always communicating with our online community. Hello, Moses. You decided to sideline me today by choosing Skype instead. Moses, can you hear me now? I can hear myself, which means that you can actually hear me. Okay, it does appear that for now we are having audio issues, but as soon as Moses, our online producer, can get through to us, he will be telling us of the issues trending online. Yes, today on the show, we are talking about insurgency in Nigeria. Since 2009, Boko Haram, an extremist sect, has continuously wreaked havoc in northern Nigeria, and it has become even bloodier with the recent killing of over 50 school children in Yobe State, Nigeria. Now, critics say that the federal government is losing the war against Boko Haram. But is this really true? Which is why today on the show we look at insurgency in Nigeria. Are the efforts put in place by the Nigerian government to end these incessant attacks by Boko Haram yielding meaningful results? Yes, think about that. We will continue the show shortly, but first of all, I need you to take a look at this video.
We are Boko Haram. When they started their plan centuries ago on how to crush Islam, they sent one of their men to Egypt to study the secret of the past of the Muslim. The person returned with a copy of the Quran. The person stated that as long as the Muslim read and practice the injunction in the Quran, they will be powerful. Therefore, they deliberated on how to tactically making the Quran insignificant and unimportant. At the end of the meeting, they outlined many programs which were centered on making the Muslim occupying so that they have little or no time for the Quran. The programs include secular education, support and music. Secular education, support and music. As a result of this today, many Muslims lost their Islam, whilst others claim to be Muslim, but have lost traces of Islam. What? All in the name of being educated.
Now, that video that you actually just saw is actually about 28 minutes long, but we just chose to show you that excerpt of the video. In that video was the leader of the terrorist group Boko Haram, Abubakar Shekau, who was actually claiming responsibility for the killing of a Muslim cleric in Nigeria's north because Sheikh Awal Albani used to preach against terrorism. Also in that video, Shekau vowed that his fighters would blow up oil installations in Nigeria's Niger Delta. He also threatened in that video to kill prominent northern leaders. Joining us in the studio today to talk about insurgency in Nigeria, we have Richard Amuwa, a security expert. Good to have you join us, Richard.
Thank you. Good
evening.
We
also have Babatunde Gbadamosi, who is a former governorship candidate in Lagos. Am I right?
Aspirant, actually, not a candidate.
Governorship aspirant in Lagos. Good to have you join us, Babatunde.
It's a pleasure.
So, insurgency in Nigeria. How do you feel every time you hear someone talk about that? Every time you hear someone utter that sentence today?
Obviously, it's quite scary to have it at the back of your mind that somewhere within the borders of this country, children are being slaughtered, women are being gutted, people are being beheaded, all in the name of religion in some cases. In some cases it's simple territorial expansion. In some cases it's ethnic rivalry. But whatever name you choose to call it, this sort of violence is something that definitely puts the fear up the spine of any rational human being.
You can say that again. Now, Richard, 5 years ago, did you ever think that we will be talking about insurgency in Nigeria?
Not really, not really. Unfortunately, the signs were there, and we never took it seriously. The signs were there in the sense that honestly, so each time I come on set to talk about the issue of this insurgency in Nigeria, it just I get a mixed feeling, sincerely, because all the signs were there, even shortly when this administration came on board, and just the fact that we could not quickly nip it in the bud. So it became a monster right now that is becoming something that everybody is now, gearing up to make sure that the insurgency is brought to hold.
Now, before we get deep into this conversation, now I should have you know that that video that you just saw actually surfaced several months after the Nigerian military convinced itself and the Nigerian public that they had killed Abubakar Shekau during a shootout in which he got injured. So it was public opinion, or rather that the military was trying to instigate that Abubakar Shekau was dead. And just when people were beginning to accept that maybe it may have died, that video surfaced. Also, I should have you know that since that video surfaced, in northern Nigeria has recorded its highest frequency of attacks within a short period. And according to the senator representing some part of the north, in less than 2 weeks, 1,000 lives have been lost. Now that brings me to the question, Babatunde, how did we get here?
It would seem, according to reports that we have had from various people that should know, and various authorities that should know, that Boko Haram may have started as a result of political contests in the northeast, specifically in Borno State, where the epicenter of the uprising is. We understand from reports that a particular gubernatorial, in fact a particular governor, to be exact, had at one point been a major patron of a religious group and had used them as his strong arm department to intimidate political rivals. Now, what seems to have happened is that perhaps the group became more radicalized than he had envisaged, and he subsequently lost control of that group, and it has now grown to become the monster that we know it to be. From all indications, several different interest groups have latched onto that franchise and have used it as a front for all sorts of heinous activities that they would like to carry out: bank robberies, abductions, ethnic genocide.
So as far as you know now, all the attacks currently going on in Nigeria are not just being perpetrated by the Boko Haram
Well,
sect?
Each of those groups calls themselves Boko Haram. The name is out there. It's convenient to be used for their purposes.
Richard, do you agree?
Oh yeah, sometimes, yeah. Even at a point, even armed robbers use Boko Haram. But again, looking at it, because at a point, I'm going to talk from a professional viewpoint right now, because even when they attack the banks, yeah, we could think they're armed robbers, but that's the only way they could then have money to finance their
such atrocities.
That's right. So
now it does appear that our technical crew has solved the audio problem that we have been having with our online producer. Moses, are you there now? Can you hear me?
Yes, Christy, I can hear you.
So go ahead, tell us, what's the online community saying about this today?
Well, there's a lot trending across Africa, but basically Kenya, South Africa, and Nigeria are the three major countries trending across Africa. Now, let's start with South Africa. Of course, I'm sure everybody by now knows about the popular Oscar Pistorius trial. It's day 9 of the trial process, and importantly, it's having a twist right now. Because the very door and the cricket bat, which was used to slam the door before he ran into a bleeding Raven Stinkham, was actually brought to the court premises for forensic analysis. And right now, there seems to be a contradictory, version of the story, as opposed to what Oscar Pistorius told, the court case earlier on. But it's still going on, and the court is yet to give their final verdict. Now, across Kenya, there's a very interesting thing going on Twitter now. It's called the Q&A, the question and answer. Yeah, the Q&A, question and answer, where the federal government has opened, a specific blog for
civilians to ask any questions that they want. Questions regarding how they are being governed, the economy, religion, anything they want. And all these questions will be directed to the federal government of Kenya and see ways in which it can be tackled. So I think it's a really brilliant thing of, you know, the way the government can get to know the mind of every member of the mass.
Sounds really
now,
interesting. Q&A.
Yes.
So let me ask you now, what is the online community saying about insurgency in Nigeria as we speak?
An awful lot, I have to say, and we've got floods of negative comment. But before I go that, you know, for those who, because we're getting some messages that some people are still not aware of, you know, our social media pages. But if you need to tweet to us, all you need to do is go to on Twitter at TVC Trends, or you can comment on our Facebook page at facebook.com/TVC Trends, or you can send us an email at thetrends@tvcnews.tv. Now, going on to the tweets that we've got, the very first tweet comes from Ajayi Adedeji, and he says that the government should realize that this trend of Boko Haram is beyond religious and ethnic fundamentalism. It is a sad trend. That's what Adedeji has said. And Babatunde Rosanwo went ahead to say that Tambuwal snubs Jonathan's PDP merrymaking in Kaduna to mourn innocent Nigerians killed by Boko Haram, as opposed to what Jonathan is doing. So I would like to direct this question to Mr. Gbadamosi, who is in the studio. What do you think about that? You know, where at one end, you know, the country is in a lavish celebration about the centenary, and at the other hand, there seems to be mourning and anguish of a certain sect of Nigerians who must have lost their loved ones at the other end. So, you know, there seem to be. I would like to say that the country right now is having a mixed feeling of stability or existence. So how would you react to that, Mr. Gbadamosi?
Your question is quite detailed and quite deep, and I'll answer it like this.
Please go ahead.
It's very, very important that in the face of the horror that we're confronted with, in the face of the terror that's been unleashed on Nigerians, that the perpetrators must not be made to feel for even 1 second that they have achieved their aim, which is to grind everything to a halt. Okay? I feel that it was very, very, very unfortunate and very sad indeed, tragic, that those people, those vulnerable, unarmed individuals, were targeted for elimination by the very well armed, very well kitted, strong, fit, able-bodied men of Boko Haram, okay, targeted in their sleep. While they slept, they were killed, slaughtered like goats and chickens. We must never lose sight of who is to blame here. So there is a tendency for Nigerians to blame government for every single thing, including the acts, the murderous acts of a terror group like Boko Haram. In the spirit of making sure that national life goes on, irregardless of whatever the terrorists might want, okay, we must give the federal government some latitude to carry on life as normal, while at the same time we must also grieve with those that have lost their people. It's not possible for the Nigerian army. It's not possible for the Nigerian army. It's not possible for Boko Haram is to blame. The Boko Haram murderers who went after children and women are to blame. We must never lose sight of that.
I am
very
a
important.
Nigerian. I believe that one of the things I'm entitled to from my government is to be protected, security.
Would you like the army to? Would you like the army to encamp outside your door?
Richard, do you agree with him?
Would you like the army to encamp outside your door? Do you think that's actually possible?
Let's have Richard's opinion on this now.
With due respect, I'm not taking that road. I'm putting the entire blame on the doorstep of the government. We're talking about security here. For any government, any world, anywhere, the primary responsibility of any government is to protect her people. And once people are not being protected, it's government. Okay, for example, the incident at Yobe.
Yes.
So these are 3 states that have been declared state of emergency. What are we talking about here? If the army, okay, for example, now for the past few days, we heard that about 700 trucks and some ammunition have been, okay, how suddenly we are doing that? The point here is that government need to take up responsibility that, no, they are not doing enough. That's the point. I've said it. Anytime I talk about this issue of security, I look at it professionally, I look at it okay, for example, right now, yeah, that's what my colleague just said about the fact that we cannot grant the country because of insurgency. Fine. But at the same time, we're talking about people are mourning. So and there's a celebration somewhere.
Should take up the responsibility.
Oh, yes.
Okay, now, Babatunde is of the opinion that the blame should be put on Boko Haram.
Who killed the children?
Who killed the children.
Those who killed the children.
So the security situation in the country should be blamed on Boko Haram. Is that what you're saying?
That's not what I said. You asked a specific question about a specific incident. And I answered that question about that incident.
About
now, if you're talking about
security situation in Nigeria, as regards Boko Haram, the killings, the incessant killings,
if you're talking about
who should take responsibility?
If you're talking about the general security situation in the country, of course we have security agencies, and those agencies have a responsibility to ensure that, in general, there is an air of safety and security for all Nigerians.
I'm so sorry, now, we'll come back to that, but right now we need to go for a break, and when we are back, the conversation continues. Remember to join us online and let us have your opinion on the trends.